You're on Red Hunt, and this one really shows what happens when things get out of control. I was in school helping with the sale of graduation items when I reconnected with a friend I had not spoken to in a while. We started chatting and I decided to bring up something she had done, hoping she would remember it. It involved her leaving a person alone during a date. She replied that it was a lie and that she had never done that. She then mentioned that there were people speaking negatively about her, claiming things she had not done. She knew who was spreading these rumors but wanted to know where they had obtained this information. One of the individuals spreading rumors was another friend of mine who was in a group chat with several of his friends, as well as some of mine. At that moment, I remembered a group chat I was part of, which included some of the friends she mentioned as being involved in the negative comments. When she asked where they got their information, I decided to reveal what I knew. I showed her the group chat, but there was not much to show, just one negative comment. She was already aware of who had been speaking poorly about her. I asked her not to tell anyone that I had shared the group chat to protect my anonymity. A few hours later, I checked my contacts and noticed that I had been removed from the group chat, along with another friend who was not involved in the situation. I spoke with him about it and explained what I had done. He doubted that we were removed for that reason and advised me not to overthink it. Now I am wondering if I was in the wrong. Is this considered snitching? I did not have any obligation to that group chat, and I wanted to help a friend facing an unfair situation. I do not want to have issues with anyone, but I feel compelled to assist a friend when something unjust occurs. I also want to respect the request for anonymity. Ultimately, this group chat did not provide any concrete evidence. It merely indicated that some members had spoken negatively about my friend without revealing the source of the falsehoods. So was I in the wrong? Should I be concerned about the consequences of my actions? I hope I have explained the situation clearly. You're definitely in a tricky spot here. I mean, it sounds like you were just trying to help a friend, but snitching can really mess with trust, you know. Now, anyone who hears about this might hesitate to share anything personal with you. It's not that you're the bad guy or anything, but people might see it that way. Minding your own business is usually the safer route. Your friend might appreciate the information, but the group chat could feel kind of betrayed. It's a tough balance between loyalty and honesty. Just be ready for some fallout. Trust takes time to rebuild. Keep it cool and focus on those who respect your discretion. You'll figure it out. Am I the jerk for how I express myself? Last night I cooked for nearly 2 hours. This involved a lot of active cooking, but it was a dish my girlfriend loves and she needed to study for an exam. I wanted to make dinner for both of us. First, I asked her to pick up some tomatoes and a chili because we did not have any for the recipe. She mentioned that she does not usually use either item, but she agreed to go get them. I told her it was fine if she did not want to go, but she insisted, even though I tried to discourage her because I did not want it to become an issue. In the past, when I have asked her to do things, she has often gotten frustrated or argued about whether it was necessary. For instance, I once asked her to pick up some paper towels from a store that is just 1 minute away from our home. She argued that we did not need any, so I went and got them myself. She returned with the tomatoes and chili, and I continued cooking while she finished studying. After we had dinner and watched television together, I asked her to put the food away since she was already falling asleep on the couch. She agreed and I saw her put the rice away, but she mentioned that she would clean up the rest tomorrow. The next morning, I went to the kitchen and saw that she had only put the rice away and left the main dish out. She was very sorry and apologetic, but I felt frustrated. I expressed my feelings by saying, I cooked for 2 hours and you could not even do the basic task of putting the food away, let alone cleaning. It is difficult for me to want to cook when you do not help with the cleaning and leave things out until the following night. She became emotional and told me that I should not berate her or act like her parent, especially after she had apologized. I understand there could have been a better way to express my feelings, and I acknowledge that I hurt her. However, I felt that I did not say anything offensive, and she perceived my response as avoiding accountability. After a few hours, she left me questioning whether I want to continue this relationship. During an argument last weekend, she had mentioned several times that if I did not meet her needs, the relationship would not work. I'm not even going to lie, honestly, I don't think you're the jerk here. It's totally fair to feel frustrated after all the effort you put into cooking. I mean, I get that she apologized, but leaving the main dish out after you cooked for 2 hours. That's a big deal. Those other examples you mentioned, like her getting all upset when you ask for help, definitely raise some red flags. It sounds like she might be a bit spoiled, or maybe just not used to sharing responsibilities. Cooking is a team effort, you know. It's important for both partners to pitch in. If she can't handle basic chores, it might be worth having a chat about how you both can improve that dynamic. Relationships really need balance, and communication is key. Just make sure you both talk about this openly to avoid any more misunderstandings. Am I the jerk for lying to my parents to go to an event celebrating trans existence? I am a 14-year-old male, and I recently got in trouble for lying in order to attend an event celebrating queer existence. I'm transgender and gay. My parents have never allowed me to go to queer meetups because they believe it will encourage my identity. The only queer friends I have live far away because I met them at boarding school. I do not have friends in my hometown, and while I have some online friends, it is not the same as being together in person. My father once agreed to let me meet my online best friend, but changed his mind after I became excited. I joined a queer youth charity online to make friends nearby. I asked my mother if I could join an in-person group, but she did not respond and never mentioned it again. She seemed fine with the idea until I sent her the link to the group, and she realized it was specifically for queer individuals. Recently, there was an announcement on the charity's server about a bath bomb making event to celebrate trans existence. I became very excited because it was within walking distance of my home. I lied to my mother, telling her that I was going shopping, knowing she would refuse if I told her the truth. She believed my lie, and I do not regret attending the event. It felt wonderful to be surrounded by people who I knew would not judge me. The event was safe because they locked the door to prevent anyone from entering and causing harm. I met a transgender individual there who was close to my age, and we began talking. He was really nice, and after the event, we walked together for a bit. I realized this was a mistake, but I did not care. I knew my parents would confront me because they could see my location through the Life 360 app, which showed I had stayed in the same place for 2 hours. My mother unexpectedly arrived in her car and saw me with the person I had just met. She became very upset, mistakenly believing I had planned to meet a random person from the internet. She was also concerned about safety. When we got home, my parents and I had a significant argument. My father expressed strong opinions, saying things like, "You are a woman. You have breasts, a uterus, and a vagina." He also said, "I will always see you as a girl. You cannot tell me a piano is a car and expect me to believe it." I attempted to leave, but my mother stopped me, insisting we needed to sort things out. Ultimately, we just went in circles, and she eventually let me leave. I do not regret going to the event and am uncertain if I am in the wrong. I feel I might be at fault for going behind my parents' backs, as they claimed it was for my safety. My mother argues that her main concern is that attending a youth club may not be safe due to the potential presence of drug dealers. While my town does have issues, I asked her to name a place without drugs and she could not respond. So am I the one at fault? Bro, that's wild. You totally did the right thing. I mean, it's tough to see people act like that when all you want is to explore who you are. Lying about your plans. Yeah, it might not be ideal, but honestly, it sounds like you felt you had no choice. Your parents seem more worried about you being around queer people than about your actual safety. If they really cared, they'd be more supportive and maybe even consider therapy for the family to work through these issues. It's pretty clear they don't understand what you're going through. You deserve to feel safe and accepted, not ashamed of who you are. Just remember, exploring your identity is a normal part of growing up, and you shouldn't have to hide to do it. You're not in the wrong here. Am I the jerk for keeping a big secret from my friend? I am 19 years old and female, and my friend is 20 years old and female. We are currently attending university and living in the same accommodation. We share a mutual friend group that we formed through going out to bars and social events, and we also have separate friend groups made through our different courses. At the beginning of this academic year, my friend started developing a romantic relationship with one of the boys in our mutual friend group. However, in February, they decided to end their romantic relationship and return to being just friends. She was quite upset about the breakup, so I focused on making sure she was okay. One day, I encountered the boy she had recently broken up with while at a bar. He was intoxicated and was talking about being interested in one of my friend's classmates. Since he was very drunk and I was not entirely sober either, I took his comments with skepticism. I did not want to share information that could potentially damage a friendship if I was not entirely certain of its accuracy. The following day, everything was quite unclear in my memory. However, I later discovered that he did indeed pursue a relationship with the girl he mentioned. Now I am uncertain about what to do. My friend has already signed a lease with this girl for a house next year, and she had moved on from her brief relationship with the boy. I do not see any benefit in telling her what I learned, so I have not shared it with her yet. I feel guilty for knowing this information without telling her because I pride myself on being a loyal and good friend. However, I am not sure how this information would help her. I can only foresee her having a difficult year next year in that house when she eventually finds out. I am concerned that it would be challenging for her to get out of the lease without incurring significant financial penalties, which neither of us can afford. Even if she could, I know there are limited housing options available at this time of year. I am uncertain about my next steps. Should I tell her immediately, or am I in the wrong for not doing so? No lie, you definitely made the right call by not saying anything when you were both drunk. I mean, it sounds like it was a hazy mess, and now that you know the truth, it makes sense to feel a bit off about it. If she's really moved on, telling her could just create a ton of drama with her housemate and, honestly, ruin her year. On the flip side, if she finds out later that you knew and didn't say anything, she might feel betrayed. But yeah, it's not really your business since this involves her ex and her friend. If it were her current boyfriend cheating, that'd be a whole different story. But since it's old news and she's already over him, it's low-key smart to just stay out of it. Just be there for her if she ever finds out, and keep your loyalty intact without stirring the pot. Am I the jerk for packing the car full? I am posting here to get some feedback on a recent disagreement with my boyfriend. Last weekend, my boyfriend, our 2 dogs, and I went to stay at my best friend's house for one night. Our plans included dinner, a movie, a sleepover, and a day full of dog activities on Sunday. While I was packing the car on Saturday, my boyfriend seemed agitated. I suggested he let me handle it since he was feeling stressed. During the car ride to my friend's house, he expressed that he thinks I overpack unnecessarily. He believes it is rude to take over someone else's house with all of our belongings and the dogs. He suggested I should have let the dogs figure things out without bringing their beds and other items. I disagreed, explaining that he is accustomed to traveling lightly, usually with just the clothes on his back and maybe a toothbrush. I argued that planning for 2 humans and 2 dogs requires more preparation. I aimed to ensure the dogs would settle down and not cause any issues in a new and exciting environment. At that point, he suggested I post about it to see what others think. For context, this house belongs to my best friend, who loves my dogs and has been inviting us over for a long time. She prepared her home in advance to be dog-friendly and closed off any rooms that were off-limits to the dogs. My dogs are energetic, mid-sized adult breeds, and while they have stayed at her house separately, they had never been there together. I wanted to make sure the visit would be successful, while the other takes up the entire back seat. I had to ensure everything fit in the footwell behind the passenger and driver seats. It required some rearranging, as I wanted to make sure I had easy access to the items needed for my friend's house and those set aside for Sunday. It felt like a game of car Tetris. So did I overpack? Did I impose too much on my friend's house? Am I the one at fault? I'm shocked. I mean, if the plan was a dog weekend, bringing the essentials was definitely smart. If your dogs don't care about the beds, maybe that's fine, but honestly, it sounds like you packed really well. If he always forgets stuff, that's on him, not you. A better question for him is what he thinks he was doing for the trip. Honestly, it's wild that he let you do all the packing and then complained about it. Packing lightly is one thing, but come on, clothes off his back and just a toothbrush for an overnight stay. That's just gross. As a dog owner, you did the right thing by preparing for the dogs. They really need familiar things in new places. Your boyfriend should keep quiet unless he's ready to put in the same effort. Just remember, if he's this lazy now, think twice about the future. You might end up doing all the work. Am I the jerk for saying there's no such thing as everyone has a little ADHD? Hi everyone, I have a family member who downplays what being neurodivergent is like, particularly the struggles of having attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, often referred to as ADHD. This is not a quirk or a fashion trend. Growing up with ADHD was a challenge. After the COVID-19 lockdowns, TikTok trends emerged where many individuals began self-diagnosing themselves with ADHD. This behavior trivializes the experiences of those who genuinely struggle with neurodivergence, making it harder for companies and workplaces to take the condition seriously. It frustrates me when my family member makes comments like, "Oh, I forget things, haha, see, I have ADHD," or "Sorry, I'm distracted, it's my ADHD." These comments perpetuate misconceptions about the condition. I have lost jobs because of my ADHD and have been ostracized by coworkers. Making friends has always been difficult for me. The breaking point was when I was discussing my past and experiences with ADHD with a friend who is studying child psychology. My family member interrupted and claimed, "I believe everyone has a little ADHD, like everyone has at least one trait." This statement made me extremely angry. I remember clenching my jaw and saying, "That's not how it works. Not everyone has a little ADHD. Just because you forget something, get distracted, or daydream does not mean you have ADHD." She tried to backpedal, saying that I was only saying this because I had been diagnosed and was acting like I was the only person in the world with the condition. This made me even more upset. I shared that my friends who are also diagnosed agree with me. Watching TikTok and using a checklist to self-diagnose does not equate to a professional diagnosis. She insisted that she understood because she was studying and researching ADHD, but that does not mean she has been diagnosed by a professional. I am frustrated because it seems she seeks attention, using ADHD as an excuse or a way to fit in, despite it being a serious condition and not a trend. You did the right thing. I mean, there's a big difference between common struggles and actual disorders. Just because a lot of people have ADHD traits doesn't mean they all have ADHD. You really need a bunch of traits that impact your daily life for a proper diagnosis. It's honestly annoying when people downplay serious issues like anxiety or depression. Those aren't just feelings, they can seriously disrupt a person's life. It's a big deal to stand up for your experiences and seek out people who truly get it. There are others out there who understand and respect your journey. It might take some time to find them, but trust me, it's worth it. Just stay true to yourself and your struggles. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.